I need to know, do you think that Diddy killed Kim Porter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters.
Now, some people even said that her casket was ordered 2 months before she died. I don't believe that, man. I swear.
A few years before Kim passed, so probably 2016-ish timeframe, thereabouts, could have been 2017, she was communicating with authorities. I heard that. Authorities were aware of something, that information that she had.
Kim Porter didn't just die, she was erased. That's what the streets have been whispering ever since the mother of Diddy's children passed away suddenly in 2018. Officially, the cause was pneumonia, but unofficially, the clues point to something way more sinister. And now that the federal investigation into Diddy is heating up, people are taking a second look at what really happened to Kim Porter, and the signs are chilling. Here's what happened. To fully grasp the situation, we must take a quick trip back to Kim and Diddy's relationship, because just like Cassie Ventura, Kim was once Diddy's most special person. Until things took a drastic turn, Kim Porter was more than just another woman in Diddy's long history of complicated love stories. She wasn't just a girlfriend or an ex, she was a force in her own right, a model, an actress, a mother of 4. She shared 3 of those children with Diddy himself, including their twin daughters and their son, Christian. And for over 13 years, she was the woman closest to the man we now see under fire. But what looked like a high-profile love story from the outside was, according to many who were there, something much darker behind closed doors. Their relationship was a roller coaster of glamour, betrayal, and tension. They met in the 90s when Kim was working in the music industry and Diddy was rising fast, and what started as a working relationship quickly spiraled into a long-term, on-again, off-again romance that kept the public guessing. Yet through all the highs and lows, it always seemed like Kim was the one who understood him best, maybe even better than he wanted her to. But everything changed when Kim found out Diddy had been keeping a devastating secret. In 2006, while Kim was pregnant with their twin daughters, she discovered that Diddy had gotten another woman, Sarah Chapman, pregnant at the same time. Not only was this a betrayal of their romantic relationship, but it was a betrayal of trust, of friendship. In her interview with Essence, Kim revealed that what hurt her the most wasn't just the infidelity itself, but the way Diddy handled it. Or didn't handle it. She had to find out from someone else, not from him. And that's when everything shifted. Kim said she would have preferred for him to be a man and tell her the truth directly. Because most of all, we were friends, she told Essence. Even if I couldn't have understood it as a woman, I would have understood it as a friend. That breach of trust was the final straw. The love was one thing, but when the respect was gone, so was Kim. I was like, "Dude, this is so whack, I can't even respect you right now," she said. And for me, once the respect is gone, I'm not even listening to you. In 2007, Kim made it official and ended things. For good. In a public statement, she said, "I made a decision that was in the best interest of myself, Sean, and our family. I look forward to moving on with my life. We will remain friends and committed parents to our children." And they did remain friendly, at least on the surface. They co-parented. They appeared in public together. Diddy even praised her publicly in interviews and tribute posts after her passing. But even those closest to her say the truth behind their relationship was far more complex. So when the news broke in November 2018 that Kim had been found dead in her Los Angeles home, people were stunned.
Longtime girlfriend of entertainer Sean Diddy Combs, Kim Porter, was laid to rest yesterday in her hometown of Columbus, Georgia. Funeral taking place at Cascade Hills Church. Porter leaves behind 3 children with Combs and an older son by singer Albi Shure. Celebrity pastor T.D. Jakes did the eulogy for the funeral. Porter was found dead in her Los Angeles home last Thursday. Authorities say she went into cardiac arrest while fighting flu-like symptoms.
The 47-year-old was reportedly in great health. She was a mother, an entrepreneur, someone who had so much to live for. And yet, just like that, she was gone. The official cause of death was ruled pneumonia, but from the very beginning, something felt off. The timing, the symptoms, the silence. This wasn't just a tragic death, it felt like a silencing. And in the years since, as Diddy's name has come up again and again in courtrooms and testimonies, one thing has become painfully clear. Kim Porter knew too much. And now people are starting to question if her death was ever natural at all. Here's where it gets suspicious. The LAPD initially called it cardiac arrest. The coroner eventually labeled it pneumonia.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
But from the moment news broke, something about Kim Porter's death never sat right with fans or with the people who truly knew her. Insiders, supporters, and even her ex-partner Albi Shure have all said the same thing. The story doesn't add up, and the more details come to light, the more it starts to look less like a tragedy and more like a cover-up. According to her autopsy report, Kim had been feeling sick for about 4 days before she died. She was dealing with sore throat, congestion, fevers, and fatigue. It started out like a typical cold, maybe the flu. But things escalated fast. She reached out to a physician and was prescribed azithromycin, a common antibiotic. Then, as her condition got worse, she received Toradol injections and IV fluids, saline mixed with vitamins, but none of it helped. By November 13th, Kim was complaining of having no appetite. A nurse came to the house and administered more fluids. The next day, she began coughing up blood, and still, there was no hospital visit. Instead, she received a massage, then reportedly watched TV with friends before going to bed. She was later found unresponsive in her room, dead at the scene. No life signs, no clear explanation, just gone. The autopsy was conducted the next day, but rather than immediately determining a cause of death, the result was deferred. That alone raised eyebrows. For someone supposedly suffering from lobar pneumonia, a condition with visible and identifiable signs, the delay felt unusual. Then came the final report. According to the Los Angeles County coroner, Kim's death was natural.
LAPD homicide with the doctor. We do not see any foul play at this point, so we'll just keep in contact with the doctor based upon his investigation.
And how do you rule that out so quickly when it comes to foul play?
No one's ruling out anything at this point. The cause of death is just undetermined because we don't know the cause of death. There's no obvious signs of death upon examining the decedent.
Do you know where the victim was found in bed and down?
Her lungs were filled with fluid, and signs of a bacterial infection were evident. There were fibrinopurulent effusions, infectious fluids filling her chest cavities. And yes, there was lobar pneumonia, an aggressive, localized lung infection. But the report also stated her toxicology was unremarkable, meaning no drugs or alcohol were found. Viral tests came back negative. She had no flu, no strep, no major infections that could explain the rapid decline. But here's where things take a darker turn. An amended pathology report, quietly filed and later uncovered, revealed something chilling. Kim had 4 strange types of bacteria in her blood. One of them is linked to fecal contamination. Another is usually found in animal bites. A third closely resembles the bacteria that causes tetanus. And the fourth? Similar to strains of salmonella. Then there's the detail that turned even the most skeptical observers into believers. White frothy sputum was found in her mouth. That kind of froth is rare. It's usually associated with overdoses or poisoning when the lungs fill rapidly with fluid and chemicals, choking the body from the inside out. And that's not all. Multiple bruises were found on Kim's arms and thighs. She had red pinpoint dots on her skin, a puncture wound on her hand, signs of force, of struggle. But none of that made it into the public narrative. No mainstream outlet asked why a healthy 47-year-old woman, with no history of drug use or immune disorders, would suddenly collapse and die of pneumonia, just days after telling friends she wasn't feeling that bad. And just when the theories started to quiet down, things reignited, hard. Then, we have people speaking about this as well, and by the looks of it, it's not only fans who started getting suspicious. Even people who were close with Kim started side-eyeing Kim's death and Diddy's possible connection with all of this mess. I am talking about Albi Shure, Kim's ex and the father of her oldest son, who spoke out publicly without any hesitation. In case you missed it, he confirmed that Kim had been in good health just days before her death, which is the total opposite of what Diddy said when asked about Kim's situation days before her passing. Suspicious? Wait till you hear what he has to say next. According to Albi, sure, they were in a positive space, reflecting on their son's success, not dealing with any signs of serious illness. In a statement, he said, "It is evident that her potential to expose the realities of her personal abuses, being drugged, the sex trafficking and human trafficking she was privy to, posed a threat to those profiting from such heinous activities." He called for the FBI and CIA to investigate. Not just Diddy, but those who had been surrounding Kim in her final days. According to him, Kim didn't just pass away. She was silenced. And he's not alone in thinking that. Now let that sink in. But wait, there's more. Fans and conspiracy theorists alike have pointed to the eerie similarities between Kim's sudden death and other women who've come into Diddy's orbit, Cassie being the most obvious. And as more people dig through the records, the question isn't just what happened to Kim Porter. It's who wanted her gone and why. But now, with Diddy under federal investigation, the truth might just come knocking anyway. Let that sink in. I mean, white froth, bruises on her arms and thighs, a puncture wound on her hand, and bacteria that have no business being in a healthy woman's bloodstream. Then it comes out that someone, possibly from inside the house, had hijacked Kim's phone. Her second phone, by the way, has never been recovered, and it gets worse. Former bodyguards have been stepping forward. Roger Bonds, who worked with Diddy for years, said he personally witnessed Diddy get violent with Kim, grabbing her, smacking her, fighting with her so badly that the car they were in was literally rocking from the struggle. And yet Kim, ever the warrior, walked out, fixed her hair, and dared Diddy to explain to the press how he got the scratches on his face. She had reached her breaking point, and that's exactly what might have cost her life. Another former bodyguard, Gene Deal, didn't hold back either. If there's anyone who saw the inner workings of Diddy's world up close, it's Gene. He served on Diddy's security team for years, long enough to see what others missed or chose to ignore. And when it comes to Kim Porter's death, Gene's not mincing words. In an interview with The Art of Dialogue, Gene said something that shook a lot of people to their core. According to him, the story we've been told, the official narrative about Kim dying peacefully of pneumonia, is a lie wrapped in silence. Gene started by talking about Kim's change in demeanor toward the end of her life. She wasn't the same quiet, tolerant woman Diddy had grown used to. She had begun to push back. She was standing her ground. She was asking questions and demanding respect. That's not something Diddy liked. At one point, Gene claims Kim even injured Diddy during an altercation. She had been pushed too far, and she fought back with the only thing she had in reach, a corkscrew. The injury was serious. According to Gene, she came dangerously close to slicing an artery in Diddy's wrist.
This is how I make my living. You could, what you call my living. You could mess up my whole living. He was trying to make her feel bad. So I was like, what the F did happen? So I'm just listening to the dialogue between them two. And he's sitting up there blaming her. And then she was like, yo, I told you to stop. And then she wouldn't say it. She said, I told you to stop. You wouldn't stop. So then the nurses came in there. He had to have, some kind of surgery and everything like that. And that was it. It was from them fighting. Kim said, because I asked her, Kim said that he would stop hitting me and I grabbed the corkscrew and made a mistake and caught him on the wrist.
It was so bad that Diddy had to wrap his hand in a t-shirt and rush to St. Luke's Hospital. Allegedly, ligaments were torn. There was blood everywhere. That moment, right there, showed Kim wasn't afraid anymore. But what came after was far more disturbing. Gene says Kim's death wasn't investigated the way it should have been. In fact, he suggests it wasn't investigated at all. According to him, no forensics team ever examined the room where she died. No thorough check of her body. No crime scene photos. And most suspicious of all, her electronic devices, every last one, were gone. vanished. This wasn't just a tragic death. It felt orchestrated. Gene also revealed something else, something so strange, so unbelievable, that it sounds like a plot out of a psychological thriller. He said that people were whispering, people close to the situation, that Kim's casket had been ordered 2 months before she even passed away. A gold casket, custom made. Yup, as if Diddy already knew all along that something bad will happen to Kim. And Gene's interview is pretty shocking, especially when he started spilling all the tea about this alleged casket. He even went ahead and questioned Diddy's actions, asking how someone would order a casket 2 months in advance. And he's not the only one who thinks so. Gene also spoke about how Kim received a massage just before her death, something that immediately raised red flags for him. How could a woman allegedly suffering from lobar pneumonia, struggling to breathe and coughing up blood, be comfortable enough to get a massage? It didn't make sense. And the fact that she was watching TV with people before going to bed? Even stranger. People with that kind of illness are usually bedridden, not casually socializing only to drop dead hours later. Gene questioned why no one looked deeper, why no authorities pushed for answers, why no friends, no industry peers, no executives publicly called for justice. Was it fear? Was it silence bought and paid for? Or was it that no one really wanted to pull the thread because they already knew what they'd find? He didn't stop with Kim either. Gene also brought up another disturbing connection, Nipy Hustle. Before Nipsey's untimely death in 2019, he had been in talks with Diddy. The two were reportedly collaborating. Gene shared that Nipsey once told Diddy he wanted his music to have the same feel as Life After Death, the final album released by the Notorious B.I.G. after his murder. That album sold millions, partly due to the eerie timing of Biggie's death. Gene's response? He called it chilling. He emphasized that the feel Nipsey was referring to came from tragedy, from death. And then, not long after that conversation, Nipsey was gone. "You gotta watch what you say to these demons," Gene warned. He told a strange story about Diddy once picking up a dove in his hand, only for it to drop dead on the spot. To Gene, it was symbolic, a moment that said more than words ever could. So when it comes to Kim Porter, Gene isn't holding back. He believes her death was sudden, suspicious, and swept under the rug. And as more people come forward, more whispers grow louder, and more questions remain unanswered, Gene Deal's words hit differently. Because maybe Kim didn't just die in her sleep. Maybe she was silenced before she could speak. And as Diddy's case continues to unravel, more parallels are getting discovered. I mean, witnesses missing, blackmails, and more. And here's the real bombshell. Kim Porter was writing a book. Allegedly, this tell-all was about to expose everything. Diddy's abuse, his manipulation, his control over industry artists, and possibly even some very dark secrets about what she'd seen. Secrets that some say involve ritual abuse and high-powered individuals. Secrets she couldn't unsee. One Reddit thread claims Kim stumbled across something huge, the ritualized abuse of minors at elite gatherings. We're talking high back chairs, long crimson tables, elite dinners where deals were made, and innocence was allegedly destroyed. Kim wasn't involved, but she was there, observing, and she reportedly started communicating with federal authorities about what she saw. She was gathering intel, quietly, carefully, until suddenly she was dead. Coincidence? You tell me. And remember, after her death, 2 laptops reportedly went missing from Kim Porter's home. Gone. Just like that. No trace, no explanation. Devices that may have contained drafts, private notes, footage, or recordings. Anything that could have revealed what Kim knew, what she'd seen, or what she was planning to do. And that's exactly why so many believe those laptops weren't just stolen. They were erased. Whispers started circulating online almost immediately after her passing. Some said Kim had collected damning evidence, videos of Diddy and other high-profile celebrities, including Usher and Mary J. Blige, allegedly caught in compromising situations. Others claimed she kept diaries and possibly had written the foundation for a tell-all memoir that was meant to shake the industry to its core. One alleged note even claimed that Mary J. Blige had gotten pregnant by Diddy and underwent a quiet abortion. None of this has ever been confirmed, but in the world of celebrity secrets, it's not about what you can prove. It's about what people are desperate to bury. Fast forward to 2023, just days before Diddy's shocking indictment and arrest, and out of nowhere, a mysterious book surfaces on Amazon. The title, Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice, From the Other Side. The so-called memoir claimed to be based on Kim Porter's personal writings and diary entries detailing an abusive relationship with Diddy, the coercion she endured, and the industry horrors she allegedly witnessed. It included allegations of sexual violence, drugging, and a shadowy network of silence and power. The book's release went quiet at first, but after news broke of Diddy's federal charges, it exploded, skyrocketing to Amazon's bestseller list practically overnight. But the backlash came just as fast. Kim's children, Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah, released a rare and emotional joint statement denouncing the book entirely. According to them, their mother never wrote a memoir, never gave anyone authorization to publish such claims, and certainly never documented anything about Diddy in the way the book described. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue, the statement read. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. We are deeply saddened that the world has made a spectacle of what has been the most tragic event of our lives. But while her children denounced the memoir, the man behind the project, author Todd Christopher Guzzi, writing under the pseudonym Jamal T. Millwood, stood by his work. He told the Associated Press that he was approached by individuals very close to Kim and Sean Combs, and was given a flash drive containing audio, notes, and personal records. He claims he simply assembled the book from those files. He also claimed that the use of the alias Millwood was specifically requested by his sources, allegedly a nod to Tupac Shakur conspiracy theories, adding another strange, chilling layer to an already bizarre situation. And if all that wasn't enough, psychic medium Sloan Bella, who's been right about Diddy-related revelations before, says Kim's death was no accident. She predicted that Kim had been exposed to toxic metals, likely through tampered household items or nasal sprays. She also claimed Kim had hidden a second phone, one she used to communicate with investigators quietly in the final months before her death. Sloan's predictions didn't stop there. She said Kim had seen something dark. Something involving the ritual abuse of minors, a secret she couldn't unsee. According to Sloan, Kim didn't just die. She was silenced. And as outlandish as that may sound, one thing is clear. Every time more information about Diddy surfaces, Sloan's predictions seem to inch closer to reality. She even described Diddy's downfall as holes in a leaky roof, covered up one moment only for another to burst open somewhere else. And isn't that exactly what we're seeing now? More victims, more lawsuits, more witnesses stepping forward. But at the center of it all is Kim Porter, the woman who knew too much, who fought back, and who, some believe, tried to leave behind the truth. Whether or not that book was real, whether it was based on Kim's voice or not, one thing is undeniable. Her name is being resurrected at the very moment Diddy is finally being held accountable. And while her children insist that she didn't write a book, the fact that the world is still asking what really happened to Kim says more than any page ever could. Now Diddy is getting dragged into this mess and more. Federal raids, multiple lawsuits, high-profile names are dropping like flies. It's like Diddy's house of cards is finally collapsing. And get this, Ed Winter, the legendary LA coroner who handled Kim's case, he mysteriously died in March 2023. Natural causes, they say. But some online are speculating that Ed might have been pressured to close Kim's case without exposing the truth. That's because his name appears redacted in the official autopsy paperwork, unusual for someone so prominent. So why would Diddy want Kim gone? Simple. Control. She was allegedly no longer scared. She knew too much. She had the receipts. And she was reportedly preparing to expose him, not just for what he did to her, but for what he did to others. Cassie's lawsuit only added fuel to that fire. It described similar abuse, the same cycle, the same control tactics. It's no coincidence that insiders say Cassie's story is Kim's story. Even Kimora Lee Simmons, a close friend of Kim's, has left cryptic messages online suggesting Diddy's karma is coming. Just weeks after she posted about Kim's death, her house mysteriously caught fire. Before that, she allegedly rushed to Kim's house the day she died to try and recover her phone before anyone else could. That's not normal behavior unless you know something is seriously wrong. The deeper you dig, the darker it gets. There's even a new lawsuit filed by a woman named April who alleges that Diddy forced both her and Kim to take ecstasy before engaging in disturbing acts. She claims Kim was drained and disoriented afterward, and that Diddy didn't care. He forced it, controlled it, weaponized it. And with Diddy's empire crumbling, the pressure is mounting. People are calling for Kim Porter's case to be reopened. They want an independent pathologist to go over everything, because the original reports were filled with inconsistencies, strange bacteria, missing phones, redacted doctors, bruises, puncture wounds, and way too many powerful people are staying silent. This isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about who's protecting him, and how long will that protection last? Because Kim Porter deserves justice. And her death? It was never just a tragic accident. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to stick around for more.